All right, guys. So, welcome to Team Forever Strong's weekly Coach Basics call. It is October 25th. And this week, we're kind of going to do like a combination from weeks 2 and 3, just because last week we didn't have the call because I completely forgot. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I forgot to pack for the trip, and I was leaving the very next morning at like 3 a.m. So, I had to spend the night packing. So, I apologize, guys. It's been a little bit of a mess over here while I'm trying to move and all that. So anyways, I'm glad to have you guys here, and thanks so much for participating in the page and for going into the trainings and reading everything and engaging and applying it to your business. You guys are doing an awesome job. Today, we are going to be going over the business activity tracker. So the BAT is what you'll hear us refer to it as. So basically, if you don't already have it printed out, it's in our files section of the Coach Basics page, though. They have the business activity tracker right there so that you can print it out. But it's a way for you to track your business, because there's no way of really knowing what to do and what you're doing to make sure that you're on track and you're going in the right direction with the business if you're not tracking it. So it'd be like any other business that you were to own. If you were to go and open up a coffee shop, if you didn't track how many people came in and ordered hot coffee, or how many cups you needed, or how many straws you needed, or how much of every single little thing, you would never know every single month how much to order and how much it would cost you. So it's the exact same thing with your business. And you'll find that if you stay consistent with tracking your business, things will go in the right direction. They'll start moving up the hill. So you definitely don't want to just wing it. You don't want to, fly by the seat of your pants with this business, because just like anything else, if you do that, you're going to get really inconsistent results, and you're going to have no way of knowing, like, where did I go wrong? Or if you were trying to hit Success Club and you're like, why didn't I hit it? I don't get it. If you have it all tracked down, then you can go and you can look back and see, and like an honest assessment, and give yourself a really good gut check of, was I doing all the things on the business activity tracker? Did I miss some days? So the business activity tracker, I'm going to go down each category that's on it. And this is something that you want to do daily. So when you sit down to do your power hour, we refer to it as in Beachbody, some of us can't sit down and have a solid power hour, and that's okay. Some of us have to break it up and do like power pockets and chunks of time, like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and so on and so forth. So either way, when you go to sit down to do your power hour or your power pockets, you want to have out your business activity tracker. And it's kind of almost like a little checklist, basically. So what you're going to do is you're going to take out your business activity tracker. So I had this printed out, and now I kind of just track everything down in my notebook because it's easier for me. But it has all these exact same things that are on the BAT. So whatever works for you, but you're going to have it printed out, and you're going to do it daily. So the first one is just be proof the product works. So that means that you're just going to make sure you get in your shake, make sure you did your workout, and you're going to give yourself a check mark. So really focusing on yourself and helping others get results is like the foundation for this business. All right. This is what the whole business is about, is working on yourself and working on helping others. So make sure that you get that in, give yourself a check. The next category is personal development. Did I get my personal development in for 10 minutes? So some of us are reading The Compound Effect. Some of us are reading The Slight Edge. There might even be a couple people in here who are reading the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. Whatever it is, 10 minutes. And if like listening to Audible works better for you because you're out and about throughout the day and it's easier to listen, do that too. That's what works for me. I can never sit down and really it's so awesome. Like, I don't know, I retain things better anyways when I'm hearing it out loud versus me reading it like in my mind in a book. So just do whatever works for you and what fits into your schedule. But it's probably the most overlooked vital behavior in this business is personal development. And it is so important, guys, that you get this piece in. Like, I'll be honest, the first 6 months of my business, I was like, I don't have time for that. I don't need that. I'm doing fine without it. Trust me, guys, you will hit a brick wall and you will be unable to grow and become better in this business and help others if you aren't working on yourself. That's the only way that you'll grow in this business, is if you're focused on helping yourself and growing, and then you can help others grow. But if you don't do that, then it's going to be a struggle. So Audible works good. There's podcasts. If you want to use it on your Kindle, if you are the type of person that likes the hardcover book because you like to highlight, whatever works, go ahead and stick to it, but 10 minutes minimum every single day. The next category is staying connected. So this just means to make sure that you are checking in to, for example, the Coach Online office. So if you're not sure how to get there, make sure to reach out to your upline and they'll help you. But you're going to want to make sure that you check in there daily, and you want to check the Coach Breaking News on the top right. Those will have all the important things like programs that are going to be launched, challenge packs that are on sale, the replay of the National Wake Up Call. It's a really important section to check. And it takes like 1 minute, but you want to log into that and you want to check that every single day. Other things like the National Wake Up Call, which is every Monday morning. There's also replays of that you can go ahead and you can watch the replay. The weekly team calls that we have every Thursday, you're going to want to make sure that you're present on the call. And if you can't, because I know people are busy, I always do put the recording up, but make sure to catch it whenever you can. And staying connected in terms of checking into the Facebook groups that you're a part of. So there's some coaches, like, don't make the mistake of this, don't feel like you need to hang out in the team page all day long. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you sit down to do your power hour, simply, like, this is all I do. I mean, obviously for my team page, because it's my team page, I'm in there a lot more. But in terms of all the other groups that I'm in, when I sit down to do my work, I just quickly go in, I scroll through the posts. What did I miss? Anything important here? I'll engage where I need to, like where I need to, and then I leave the page, and I will not go back into that group until the next day when I sit down to do my work again. So it's the same thing for you as well. Don't feel like you need to be hanging out on the team page or wherever. You want to sit down, go into the Coach Basics training, complete the activity, engage in it so we know that you're actually doing it, go into the team page, check it out real quick, and then leave. And that's it. You're not going to miss anything from that day until the next day when you sit down to do your work. Okay? All right, the next piece is social media. So this just means you're going to give yourself an assessment. You're going to go to your wall, and you're going to say, all right, did I make my 3 posts today on my wall? And if you didn't, that's where you'll add one in. So the 3 different types of posts that you're going to do are going to be a personal post, like something that you have going on in your life that's not even Beachbody related. Then you can do something Beachbody related. And then you can do something else that's like more motivational, or like a quote, or a recipe, something that will add value to people. So I say that a lot, but make sure that whatever you're putting out there, when you reread it to yourself, just ask yourself, can this help someone in some way? Like, is this going to give motivation to someone? Is this going to inspire someone? Did I add value? Like, did I share a tip about something that could help a crazy busy mom? Did I add a tip to someone who can, about, recipes? Maybe they don't have time to get recipes done, but I just threw out this really quick crock pot recipe for them. Adding value is really what we're all about. So when you're posting, think to yourself, is what I'm writing right now, is it interesting and engaging enough that people will want to keep coming back to my wall? So that's the thing. You want people to be drawn to your wall. Like, you want to be a place where you're like, where people are like, let me go see what she's doing today. Like, she always has something motivating to write, or she always has great tips on exercising, or she has great tips on recipes or prepping food. She's always got this live video on there about, X, Y, and Z. Just ask yourself those questions as you're making your post. If you're super busy, there's a lot of coaches. I mean, I don't know anybody who's not busy, but there are coaches who are literally gone all day long, and they cannot be sitting around thinking about, oh my gosh, I didn't get my post up. And I can't stress enough how important it is to get these posts up and be consistent with it, because even if you think no one's watching you guys or reading it, and you might not even get a lot of likes, people are watching you to see if you're being consistent. Like, these beginning stages right now as a coach, is going to set the stage for you for the whole rest of like how well you do for the next 3 to 6 months, because you've launched your business, people know you're a coach, and now they're watching you. And if you are not showing up on social media, people aren't going to see you as someone who's reliable and someone who's trustworthy and someone who's motivated. They're kind of going to look at you as someone who's wishy-washy and what is she doing? Like one day she's there, the next she's not. What the heck's up with her, right? And people, when they're ready, they want to go with someone who they know is going to be super reliable and consistent. And so I'll just use myself as an example. Literally, last week when I was away on the plane ride to leadership, I had a guy that I went to high school with reach out to me, and now he's been watching me for 2 years, guys. 2 years, and he finally reached out and said, me and my wife are finally ready to get started on our health and fitness journey. You're the first person I thought of because you are there every single day, and I know that you can help us get started in the right direction. And so that made me feel good, because sometimes you just never know, like, are people reading this? But they are. And so being consistent is key. And so if you have a hard time getting the post up, you can use automated things like Postcron is one that you can use. I'll type it in the chat here for you guys. But there's a bunch that people use. So there's Postcron is one. Some people use Hootsuite. I just typed that wrong. Some people use Buffer. And I do Postcron now, like for all the challenge groups and all that stuff. But people on the team use all 3 of these, and they all work great. But basically, you can go ahead the night before, for example, and plan out a couple posts. Like if you know you're not going to be at a computer until like 7 o'clock at night, you don't want to go all day long without a post, right? So that would be a good time for you to go to Pinterest, find a really good motivating quote that speaks to you. You literally can just, copy and save the image if you want, or use yourself even better if you can personalize it and put the quote on like a picture of you or something that you're doing, and then just kind of talk about it. And you can click when you want the post to go up. You can click the time you want it to go up and the day that you want it to go up. So you don't even need to think about it when you're at work. And so I know that works really well for a lot of the coaches on the team. So definitely take advantage of that if you need to, because it makes things a heck of a lot easier. All right, the next one is new contacts. So this is where you're asking yourself, okay, did I go through and did I add my 3 to 5 new contacts to my network today? So when I do this, and people do it different ways, some people, build new relationships and add new friends to their network because they're a part of other groups on Facebook for things that they like to do. So like running groups, stay-at-home mom groups, teacher groups, skiing groups, anything that you like to do, and they've formed relationships and they've had conversations going back and forth in the group, so they add them as a friend, because now it's not weird. You've been talking back and forth about nursing if you're a mother, or like, you know what I'm saying, skiing or basketball, things that you like to do. The way that I did it was I usually just choose, and I've done this since the beginning, I usually go through, like I work off of like my high school friends basically and my college friends, and I just click on their name, I click on their friends, and I scroll through their friends. And anytime that I see that someone has, like, for example, 8 or more mutual friends in common, I'll look at who the mutual friends are. As long as I don't see anybody who's a Beachbody coach, and I know there's like so many of them, so sometimes you just don't know. It's okay if you don't know. But if I were to see someone on there that was a Beachbody coach, I wouldn't bother adding them as a friend, because that's like that coach's territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to go there. So I wouldn't bother. But if I look and I see that there are no Beachbody coaches in common, I would just add them as a friend. And I would just do this every day, 3 to 5 new people. And that's how you grow your network. And it's more eyes on you, more eyes watching you. And then it's more people for you to build new relationships with over time. So the more eyes on you, the better. All right. So that you're going to want to make sure that you do that every day right from the beginning, because you can very quickly blow through your warm market list, depending on how aggressive you are with like the invites. All right. Inviting 3 to 5 new people to join our challenge group. So that's the next category. So this is where you will like specifically do that invite to the challenge group, not a wishy-washy, like, let me know, like a legit, I'm running this group, with the team. It's starting on November 7th. You know, I'm looking for 5 more people who want to do it with us. Would you be interested in hearing more? Something along those lines. And we have sample scripts and follow-up messages in the file section of the Coach Basics training page too. So you're going to want to make sure that you send 3 to 5. Now, these are just rough estimates, guys. There are people on the team who want to move fast and they don't want to mess around, so they do more than that. And so by all means, you can do more than that. These are just the bare minimums requirements, all right? So just keep that in mind when you sit down to do your work. The next piece is inviting 3 to 5 new people to the business opportunity. So is it tomorrow we have the Coach Blitz? Yeah. So tomorrow night, for example, we're running a Team Forever Strong Coach Blitz for 1 hour from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight is the night where you should be private messaging like as many people as you can, guys, and just say, hey, listen, our team's running a free Coach Blitz tomorrow night from 9 to 10 p.m. It's just a chance for people to learn about coaching and see if it's something you might be interested in the near future. You can just be a fly on the wall. Would you like me to invite you to it? That's all you have to say. I copy and paste that, and I send it to as many people as I can. So you want to take advantage of the Coach Blitzes or the Coach Sneak Peeks if your coach runs those, because building your team is really like the ultimate goal for you if you have really big ambitions for this business. So we want to focus on building your team. All right, the next part is the follow-ups. So the follow-ups, this is going to be pretty easy because it'll just be you following up with the people that you invited from the night before. So if you sent out 5 invites about a challenge group like yesterday, today when you sit down, you would do those follow-ups to those 5 people. And honestly, you know what? The magic, guys, is really in the follow-up. Most times, you won't hear back from anybody on that first initial invite. Like, you won't hear anything. Like, I'm just throwing it out there so that you're well aware, so you're not like, I haven't heard from anybody. It is so normal. You won't hear back from people on that first message. Very, very rarely. The key and the magic is in the follow-up. It might take you 2 or 3 times to connect and follow up with this person again before you hear anything. You might be following up 3 months later, and then you finally hear from them. It might be a 6-month follow-up. But it's so important that you do the follow-up because people get busy with their days. They sometimes see the message and forget to write back. It's just you caught them at the wrong time. So always, always make sure that you get those follow-ups in every day from the previous day's invites. All right. The next one is checking in with people in your challenge group. So if you've already signed up people and they've already signed up, they've ordered a challenge pack or they've ordered Shakeology, they're in a challenge group, you're going to want to quickly just touch base with them. Like, hey, how are things going? Do you like your shake? I mean, this is our key priority, is to make sure that people are finding the recipe that they like, that they have the right texture, that they have the right recipe, that they love it, that they're actually drinking it every day. I know this seems basic, but I can't tell you how many times people are like, oh, I actually haven't opened my box yet. It's been sitting on my counter for 5 days. So you want to do these frequent, check-ins with your challengers, like, oh, hey, did you get your shake? How'd you like it? Did you make your first one? What was the recipe you used? Make sure you find one that you love so that you stick with it, because once you find that recipe you love, you'll be obsessed and you will never want to miss a day. What'd you think of the workout? Do you need any tips on anything? How you doing with the meal plan? I mean, it seems tedious, but that's like, at the core of it all, that's our job as a coach. And, you're going to be much more likely to get referrals down the road if you do an awesome job as a coach now versus just signing someone up and then throwing them to the challenge group and just letting the challenge group do the work. It doesn't happen like that. Like, they really need the support from you. They need that one-on-one motivation and guidance from you as their coach. And the challenge group is obviously awesome. People need that. I mean, that is one of the keys to people reaching their goals, because you're less likely to quit, but you need to be engaged in there. If you have a coach or challenger who posts in the group, you want to be right there to like it, comment on it, give them some kind of praise or recognition, because taking selfies and things like that, or just sharing, I mean, that's really hard for somebody to come on and do that. I mean, that's like a big deal. So even just recognizing them for doing something like that and making them feel good, you want to make sure that you stay in really close contact with those challengers, especially at the beginning when you first sign them up, like daily check-ins. All right. And then the last section is connecting with your team. So that's kind of goes right in with the stay connected piece. It's basically just making sure that you're actually engaged in the team page. Like, you don't want to be, just, who is this person? Oh, I didn't even realize this person was even in the team page, right? So stay actively engaged. If you come across, a question that you need answered, go ahead and you can post it in the team page. There are so many incredible coaches in that page. They'll hop right on board. They'll answer you. And if you have a question, chances are that there are so many other coaches on the team that have the same question. So don't ever feel afraid or nervous to ask, because our team is not like that. We're like one big family, and no one judges, and we help each other out all the time, and we want you guys to succeed. So that you can share. If you come across something that's worked really well for you, you know what? Be a leader. Step up and be like, hey, listen, I know there's a lot of new coaches on this page. I'm new too. I just did this. It worked awesome. I just wanted to share. That's it. Something simple like that. So does anybody have any questions about the business activity tracker? No, good to go? All right. So like I said, keep it on. Awesome, Jane. So you can keep it on your computer. You can print it out. Like I had mine in my notebook because I'm old school and work off of the notebook. But you definitely want to have it out in front of you, and it will guide your activities of what needs to be done when you sit down to do your power hour, versus like, all right, I'm sitting down to work. Now what? And then you start scrolling in Facebook, and it's just a big disaster. So we don't want to go there. We want to be efficient with our time, right? Because we're entrepreneurs. All right, so that's the business activity tracker. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you tonight about is forming and building relationships. So forming, this is a really important process and part of our business, because at the end of the day, this is a people business and it's a relationship building business. So you have to genuinely be concerned and care about people. All right. It's people over points, no matter what. All right. If you focus on the person and you focus on what their needs are and what they're trying to overcome and help them work through their struggles, you don't ever need to think about Success Club points, guys. They just happen. They just come. You know what I mean? You don't ever have to worry about it. They just happen naturally because you're leading with your heart instead of just, I need to get the challenge pack and these points and yada, yada, yada. So that's the best advice that I can give you, is to focus in on the person. So forming, when I'm talking about forming is, and this would go in your power hour when you're going through your checklist. Like I kind of added these extra things to my checklist when I sit down to work every day. And one of them is forming. And basically what I do is I just pick 3 people, sometimes more, it depends how much time I have, but I just pick 3 people every day that are not coaches, that are people who have never signed up with me, people who I don't know, because I'm trying to get to know them more. And I will just go to their wall and I will like some of their posts. I'll even comment on their posts. If I see something that's really interesting and it's something I can strike a conversation about, excuse me, I will private message them about that, and I'll start a conversation with them about it. And so that's just forming. You're talking to them and pretending as if you are literally sitting, imagine yourself like at a party, a gathering, and you meet someone new for the first time. What are some of the things that you would say to that person? You wouldn't just ignore them, right? You would start talking to them. You'd start small talk, with things that you have in common to try to get to know them, and you let the conversation go from there. That's what forming is all about. And you're not doing this to try to get them to buy a challenge pack or be in your challenge group. People who are successful coaches, they help and talk to anybody, no matter the end result, because the successful ones who really go all the way with this are just genuine, authentic, caring people, no matter what. That's why, honestly, we have a ton of teachers on our team, and they are some of the most incredible coaches on the team because I mean, think about it. When you become a teacher, right, you don't do it for money. You do it because you want to make a difference, and it's rewarding, and you love helping people. And that is what coaching is all about. So if you can stay focused on just helping anyone and everyone, it's rewarding enough in itself. And I can't tell you how many people, guys, I have helped along the road that have come, and like, I'm not like friends, like I hang out with them because they live far away, but you know, they'll talk to me about like personal things in their life and in their marriage and really hard times, because they have that trust in me. And I like knowing that I've built that kind of relationship with them, and they've never signed up for anything with me ever, but somehow me talking to them or them seeing some kind of a motivating post I made has inspired them to now go to the gym. I don't care if they sign up with me. I don't care if they go to the gym. They're inspired to become better and to work on themselves. And that's huge. So your job as a coach, guys, is like so important, and what you do matters so much more than you even know. So just, I keep it in the back of my mind all the time. Help anyone and everyone, talk to anyone and everyone, and just be authentic and lead from the heart. And it's amazing the lives that you change. Do I use a business page as well as my personal timeline? So, sorry, I'm just drinking my Energize. I honestly, I've built my entire business off of my personal page. I did start to do my health and fitness page. I was probably a coach for like, I don't know, 8 months, something like that, where I started it. But a like page is really, really hard to grow. And it's got some kind of whole system on its own that like I honestly haven't quite figured out yet. It's brought some new people to me to help build relationships with. But in terms of like actually signing people up through it, I might have only had like a couple. It's been all through my personal page. So I hope that helps. All right. Okay, so that's the forming. All right, the next piece, just really quickly, that we're going to touch on, and I know we just kind of went over it with the business activity tracker, is your power hour. So this is daily, right? Because sometimes people come into this and they have like the employee mindset, right? Where they think that this is something that they can just do a couple days a week, or that someone's going to tell them to do it. Just remember that we're all entrepreneurs here. Every single one of us is running our own business, and we're all selling the exact same products. We all are selling them for the exact same price. We all get the exact same compensation plan. Why do some coaches take off and others don't? So a lot of it boils down to that work ethic and being self-disciplined enough to sit down every day and to do what most people are not willing to do, which is sitting down and doing the power hour checklist, that what I just went over with the business activity tracker. So this isn't something that you can just, like, oh, I'm busy during the week, I'll do it on the weekends. You got to do a little bit every single day. And even if you're super busy one day, the best advice that I can give you is to spend that small block of time that you have talking to people. Because at the end of the day, the only thing, guys, that is going to grow your business is talking to people, period. It's inviting, following up, and building new relationships. That's it. If you were to ever only do one thing, that is the thing. So I tell my coaches that all the time. Even if one day like you're super overwhelmed and you only have 10 minutes, sit down and bang out invites for 10 minutes. Okay? So I have like a checklist for every single day. And when I sit down to do my work, of course I do it, you can do it for as long as you want. I do it a little bit longer. But during mine, that's when I do my invites, my follow-ups. I form with 3 people. I check into my groups. I check in with my challengers. I check in my wall and make sure I have my posts up. And I make sure that I got my personal development in. Most of the time, I don't do my personal development, though, during my power hour, because I do it when I'm doing something else around the house, like, putting dishes away, or I'm trying to make my lunch or something like that while one of the kids is sleeping, or I'm in the car. So it's kind of separate from my power hour. But those are the things that I do. And then the last piece that I just wanted to share with you is people a lot of times ask, what are the apps that we use for posting pictures? Different kinds of apps. So I'm going to just type them in here for you guys. But one of the ones that we use is PicMonkey. That one you can do right on the computer. We have WordSwag, Photo Mirror is another one. I'm putting them in the chat box for you guys. There's Photo Candy. There's Font Candy. And my favorite one that I use on my phone that I just recently discovered, I hope I spelled it right, is Photofy. I hope that's right. I think it's right. But I like that one a lot. But it just makes your, you know, your pictures more eye appealing. So don't go crazy making like, you don't want to have, like, you want to avoid busy pictures with like a lot of stuff going on. But it's nice to use to, like, you can brighten up your pictures a little bit, add a nice, you know, a brighter filter to it. You can put a nice quote on it, you know, something that's going to be, you want to think like people are on their phone and they're scrolling through. What's going to catch them and get them to stop and read what you had to write? So making sure your lens isn't blurry, things like that is just some samples, some basic knowledge. All right, do you guys have any questions about anything that I went over, or just anything from the week that you've been learning, anything about becoming an Emerald coach, hitting Success Club? Remember, your first 2 goals, your first month as a coach, is to help 2 people so that you can hit that first rank in Beachbody, which is Emerald Coach rank. And honestly, like, this is one of the most important ranks, guys, that you can hit. I know it sounds like it might not be because it's only 2 people, but the reason why it's one of the most important is because this is where you can finally start to earn Team Cycle bonus income. And this is the income that ends up leading to residual income over time. And so that's going to be your main source of income as you grow your business. So you can't collect Team Cycle bonus income until you become an Emerald coach and you have 1 person on your right leg and 1 person on your left leg. So we all know 2 people. Could be a relative, could be a friend, it could be a coworker, could be your spouse. And then your next goal is to just help 1 more person so that you can hit at least Success Club 5. So if you need any tips or if you have any questions about any of that, just make sure you can post in the Coach Basics group. And we're happy to chime in and help you guys out in any way we can. All right, any questions about any of that stuff that we went over? No. All right, you guys are doing awesome though. Stick with it. I'm glad that you guys are here. You know, we have 1 more call left, and I'm just excited to see where this journey goes for you guys. And I love seeing like all the motivation and the enthusiasm and you guys checking in and actually participating. That makes me really happy. So great job. Keep up the good work. And this Thursday night, guys, I don't know if you saw my post, we have a top 10 coach. All right, this is like the cream of the crop, guys, is going to be speaking on our team call this Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you definitely don't want to miss it. So these are the people who clearly know what they're doing and have built incredibly successful businesses. And so I don't know about you, but I like to be a sponge to those types of people and collect as much information as I can and go from there. So hope to see you guys there. If you have anybody that's on the team already and you're like, even if you're a new coach, let your team know because it's going to be an amazing call. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here, and I will see you then on Thursday night. Bye, guys. Great work.